I bet you the okay, here's one. What are the odds that Maduro decides to pack it in and go to, I don't know, someplace like the Soviet Union or someplace in the Middle East or some friendly country with a couple of $100 billion to feather his nest rather than watch the Gerald Ford send 75 jets over and start taking out his labs and the source of his income.
Or what about if he just simply turns and says, "Okay, no mas. Uh, I hear you, Mr. Trump. What do you want us to do?"
I don't
And
think
he
that's
holds
likely.
on, and he holds on to power.
What are the odds of that happening? Of Maduro being neutralized either way?
Yeah, I'd say very high that he gets neutralized. I would think that it would be in the U.S. interest not to go in with a military because that's going to give a lot of people a lot of ammunition to come at. What is this? Your dictator. Here we go again with all the words getting thrown around. I think it'll simply be a sit down, very much like I think you guys may have seen that where one of the former intelligence officers, senior, said that Trump had sat down with the Taliban and showed him a picture of his house and said, I think very much is the same type of thing. In fact, I do believe Trump said, "We know where you live, we know your address, we know which room you sleep in." He said that just the other day. Those words and what he's been doing carry a lot of weight. I think it would be in his interest, Maduro's interest, to simply, hey, look, okay, I can't get away with this anymore. Time to change my game.
He operates with a carrot and a stick, and he's got a big stick sitting out in the ocean. The Gerald Ford alone, much less that, I mean, he's got an armada there.
Maduro's got the cartels on the other side saying, "Don't play this game. We know where you live too." So I think it's more likely that he flies off to Qatar or something like that rather than
Well,
sitting
either
home.
scenario gets you the same place. Either
Yeah,
you got a friendly guy sitting in his chair, but the point is, either way, he's not sitting in his chair. And
Yeah,
and that was really the base of my question. What are the odds that he's not sitting in that chair in 3 months?
I wouldn't want to be in a cartel right now because there's no question that the crosshairs are on them. It's an illicit trade. It's a drain. It kills people. Blah blah blah. Make all your cases, but there's definitely a change. It's not like what was the old '80s. We went against the drugs, and but it was all
you know
stop
the
it.
drugs. Yeah,
Yeah,
say no to drugs. It was
say
nasty.
just say no. Right, right. Now it's a little bit sterner than just say no.
If you really step back, in our lifetimes, we've never seen a major initiative in South America. Yeah, there have been incidents, one country or another, but here you got
Falklands.
Argentina's made a complete turnaround.
Yeah,
Colombia's on the fence
yep,
and moving our way. Um, and Venezuela is facing being deposed.
right. Doesn't Ecuador have some elections coming up, or just had them as well?
Brazil
Uh,
does. Brazil's
Yeah,
I
got
don't know.
elections coming
I
up.
get
yeah, and
distracted because there's a lot of really beautiful women in Ecuador.
yeah, yeah. um, I think that you're right. Outside of the Latin American bailout, what really has happened in our life, and again,
Falklands, the UK and the Falklands. That was the big one,
that was
right?
a big one. Or
That was
Grenada,
Argentina. Right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Carrier lost.
yeah. So it's going to be interesting, but with all these things happening, geez, Tim, that would be amazing if the United States did begin to focus on diplomacy and moving Latin America because that's a great supply of natural resources. Um, but this combination of business, government, um, the circular investing that seems to be going on, I've heard you guys talk about that a number of times. This is kind of like at the center of, I don't like to call it a new world order. I have a lot of names that I tried to come up with. The one that I've termed is a quantum convergence. And I think that out of chaos, comes order. And I think that that's the precipice that we are at. We still need to get Russia and Ukraine. But when you look at that meeting just last week with the Saudi king, or to be king, that was amazing. Right
Yeah.
there on the spot, 700 billion, but I'll up it to a trillion and maybe more. This is unheard of, like, in our time.